This week on the Steel Report.
There were so many different defects wrong with her heart. Normally are not together. You might see a kid with one or two of these or one or two of these. She had 7 main ones.
You're going to meet 8-year-old Hayden and the Huddleston family of Parkersburg, this year's Survivor Ambassador family for the upcoming Cedar Valley Heart Walk. Plus,
we are a secondary provider for Cloxoto and Narcan.
We'll talk about Pathways' LORE program to combat opioid overdoses and its Farmers Against Cancer. And our program begins right now.
Now from KWWL, this is the Steel Report.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Steel Report. As you can see, we are finally back after being preempted recently by the Paris Olympic Games. Let's begin today by introducing you to this year's Cedar Valley Heart Walk Survivor family, overcoming a lot of obstacles over the past 8 years, this family has. Let's head to Parkersburg to meet the Huddlestons.
Good? Hold on. Ready?
8-year-old Hayden Huddleston gets some help on the swing from her dad, Hank, as the family enjoys a play day recently at the well-known Miracle Park in Parkersburg.
Go.
Hank is a longtime employee of the Waterloo Community School District and is well known as a coach for the famous Martin Brothers men's AAU basketball teams. Hayden's mom, Erin, is a longtime Cedar Valley area teacher in both Waterloo and Appleton and Parkersburg. And helping them out is Hayden's big sister, 11-year-old Mackenzie. Mackenzie will be a 5th grader this fall at Appleton and Parkersburg. The Huddleston family has had quite a journey over the past 8 years. Doctors told the family Hayden had some very serious heart problems and would require heart surgery right away.
The heart problems are easier to deal with now, as she's age 8. But it's kind of everything put together is challenging for Hayden. But she lives life like nothing is wrong with her. I don't believe she remembers surgeries. She's had, 5 different things done. She's always happy, has more energy than the kids that I know that don't have any heart needs. At age 2, she was demonstrating some signs. I teach special education, and there were some things that we could sense were a little bit different. Just being around it all day at school. So she was diagnosed with autism. Once you have a medical and a behavioral diagnosis, they like to dig deep. So they take genetic blood tests, they evaluated for all kinds of things. And it's called 16p 12.2 deletion syndrome. No cool name, like some syndromes have cool names so you can tell people. They just said, go ahead and just call it Hayden syndrome. Wow. It's rare, not like nobody else has it, but it's still pretty rare. She will need her 3rd heart surgery, and they will either try to repair the cleft if they can. Most likely they're saying now it will be a valve replacement. So once you have a valve replacement, those last a certain amount of time, and then at some point in her life she'll need, another one and then another one, if as long as she lives a long life, which we're hoping and praying for. Each kid has different things. So for Hayden, it was the autism, her communication needs, her feeding needs, and her heart needs are the 4 symptoms that she has. There's all kinds of other things, kidneys and seizures, and so she's been evaluated for all those other possibilities, and she hasn't had anything in that direction. Her kidneys look fine. And
my wife Erin has done an incredible job with the scheduling, the handling of most of everything. I would say that it's been a long journey. She's a very active girl. When we first started, they said, well, she's normal. Well, she's normal to us because that's what we have. Obviously, other people wouldn't say our life is normal, but to us it is.
She also has what's called dextrocardia. Her heart is flipped. A normal heart is pointing this way, and it's a little bit, more to this side. Hers is flipped and it sits in the middle. So when they go in to do a surgery, it makes it even tougher because when you cut through the sternum, the heart's right there instead of a little bit more over. So that, and it's back, her heart's backwards. So the surgeons have to really know what they're doing. Now you think of it, I know people have said before, your heart is about the size of your fist. So a 2.5-month-old, they compared it to the size of a walnut. So she was having her surgery on a little walnut-sized heart.
Doctors and teachers have found that Hayden is a highly intelligent girl, but remains fairly nonverbal right now. So she uses this augmentative and alternative communication device to help her communicate, using the speech device to tell me a knock-knock joke.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Boo.
Boo-hoo!
Don't cry, I'm only joking.
This experience has taught us a lot about the CHD, congenital heart defects and disease. You usually hear about strokes and heart attacks, and my dad at age 60 had a quadruple bypass. I've heard a lot about those, and I know of little kids that have had some issues, but until you're put into the world, your eyes open a lot more about the possibilities of heart needs and strokes and heart disease, and how to take care of yourself and how to take care of your kids a little bit better and spread the word among other families and community members. And there's so many community members in this area, Appleton, Parkersburg, that accept Hayden, they love Hayden, they're supporting her in this heart walk that'll be on August 24th.
Mackenzie's been a great big sister. The running joke in our family is, she talks enough for both of them. With Hayden, to live as long as possible would be the biggest thing. Obviously, at some point we'd like her to be verbal if she could, but if she isn't, we'll, as a family, we know how to communicate. The hardest thing are for others that don't know her or don't know our family. Sometimes there's some funny looks and how she acts when she's out in public, but they don't know any different, and so we just kind of take everything in stride.
When she was 14 months, we'd gotten her to a big enough weight. They needed to do the neck surgery, so her AV canal, so the big canal that runs through your heart, she had a 18-millimeter hole when she was born. They had told us you can live with a 5 to 6 millimeter. There's people out there that have holes in their heart and you can survive. Hers was triple the size. They wanted her, though, to get as big as possible and strong before they did that, so they could make sure that the patch held. So at 14 months, she went in for that. They sat us in a waiting room, and we were just hoping for the best. You say goodbye to your little girl, and the doors close, and that's it. Overall, she's become a very healthy child, healthy 8-year-old. Her heart is now the normal size. They weren't sure if it would work, but it did, and now she's at a stable level with all 4 heart chambers, the size they're supposed to be.
The Huddlestons will tell their story at the upcoming Cedar Valley Heart Walk on Saturday morning, August 24th, as always out at the Mud Advertising Complex near the Prairie Lakes in Cedar Falls.
So the Huddlestons will be helping us just spread the word and sharing their story and just bringing more awareness to not only how common that congenital birth defects to the heart are, but showing that there's hope for all of us, for our own hearts and for heart disease.
Sydney Janacek is director of the Cedar Valley Heart Walk, and this year's event is very special because it's the 100th year of the American Heart Association.
Last year we expected around 1,000 participants, and we're hoping to beat that number, of course, for our 100th year. So you can register online whenever you want on cedarvalleyheartwalk.org. Timeline for the day of, Event Central is going to start around 8 a.m. in the morning, and then at 9 o'clock the Huddlestons will be going on stage and sharing their story to the walkers that are in attendance, and then they will be helping us kick off our walk around Prairie Lakes.
And Mackenzie, do you want to say something?
Join us on the Heart Walk on August 24th.
Thanks so much to the Huddleston family of Parkersburg, and please, I hope you'll take time to participate in the upcoming Cedar Valley Heart Walk. It's Saturday morning, August 24th, out at Mud Advertising. Coming up next, stopping opioid overdoses through a new program called LORE at Pathways. That's coming up next. And right now, I want to welcome to the Steel Report for the first time a couple of guests here. Felicia Carter is the program manager at Pathways Behavioral Services, which has offices in 6 different counties, but she is the manager for the new LORE program, L-O-R-E, we'll be talking about. And also joining here today is Jason Hauserman, the peer recovery coach for the LORE program. So I want to welcome both of you to the show. L-O-R-E, LORE. And what does that mean then, Jason? You're the peer recovery. You've been through this yourself. You kind of have a lived experience that gives you a basis for helping so many other people who are going through some troubling times. What's this program mean to you? What's it all about?
Well, yeah, so we work with people specifically struggling with opiate or stimulant addiction, and we link them to resources such as treatment. We get them involved with extracurricular activities in the recovery community. We help meet the needs that they might have coming out of treatments or out of prison situations in order to get them established back into the communities and doing the things that, you know, regular people do.
So Felicia, we have a video that I wanted to show briefly here on the program at this moment. This is about the LORE program. We'll just take a look at it here for a couple of seconds.
LORE stands for Linkage to Outreach, Referral, and Engagement.
LORE is a peer-led program, and what that means, it's peer-led in the fact that we are in recovery. We have been there, we have done that.
We can get them in touch with those linkages to care like treatment or inpatient treatment, and engagement, just keeping them engaged with their treatment program.
Peer recovery coaches, we're a bridge. We are that first line support.
We wear many hats. Sometimes we need to be stern, sometimes we need to be the caretaker, sometimes we need to be the empath. There's just so many different roles, so many different positions, and really that's how you support somebody.
There is such an unspoken bond between people in recovery. When I sit down with someone and I say, I know exactly what you're talking about. I literally know what you're feeling because I've had those same things go on in my head. And I can teach people to customize their coping strategies, coming from a place of someone who actually did it.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a lot more inclined to take advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about rather than someone who's studied about what they're talking about.
Seeing someone else who had been where I was, sitting in a place of peace, you know, and had overcome some of those barriers, it was just really comforting and inspiring.
If you recognize the major influencers of what creates people coming back to your facility, drug and alcohol abuse, mental illness, those are the big factors. And so having a treatment facilitator in your facility, it doesn't get any more proactive than that.
Overall, what's the goal of the program and how long has it been around?
I believe the program started in August of 2021. Pathways in the Department of Public Health. It's a pilot program, and so we are trying to meet the needs of those that have an opiate. We're trying to meet the needs of the opiate epidemic in the Waterloo, Cedar Falls area and surrounding.
We are a secondary provider for Cloxato and Narcan. We do a brief training video and provide Narcan and Cloxato to people who are interested in that. We will be in September out in Lincoln Park, and we will be providing that Cloxato and Narcan training for people who are interested in it. It's really a quick video, and it's a very easy thing to administer to people who are overdosing. And you don't really know, like, you don't have to be present with somebody while they're using. You could be in Walmart or out in the park and witness somebody who's in an overdose situation. And it could be the difference between life and death, being able to administer that.
So do you want people to contact the program, Felicia? How do they do, what's the best way to contact the program? And what's going to happen if they do contact your office?
The best way to contact my office is either 319-232-6081, or my cell phone number is 319-464-4444. Once a person can refer themselves, or a community agency can refer them, and then I will match them with one of the 4 peer recovery coaches that are staffed. We're located in the heart of Waterloo at 311 Irving, the old Quakerdale campus. So we're normally there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., some Saturdays, some Sundays.
And can people just show up at your campus too, or do they need an appointment?
They can show up.
Right, just
Yep.
kind of, so if somebody has an interest in this and maybe has a problem they want to talk with either of you or your dedicated staff, they can just come to the old Quakerdale campus where you're located over on Irving Street. Okay, fantastic. Jason, I want to go back. You say you're going to have some meetings taking place right over in Lincoln Park here during September. So when will those take place? Who is invited? What time?
So every Thursday during the month of September, we'll be out there from 11:30 to 1:30, and anybody in the public is invited. Anybody who would like to have access to it, family members, people who might be suffering with addiction problems themselves, friends, family of people who are suffering with addiction, can come out there. Kloxxado and Narcan are completely safe for children. It's completely safe for the general public to have. So we just want to make sure that it's in the hands of the public so that they can administer it in the case of an emergency.
How do you get that word out that this is a dangerous, potentially fatal situation?
Well, Ron, everyone that I talk to, I just let them know that fentanyl isn't everything. From opiates to stimulants to marijuana, and the lethal dose is the size of a tip of an ink pen.
Wow.
Yes.
That is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Jason, would you be willing to share with the viewers what's your own background? How did you get from point A to where you are now?
Actually, I was a participant in the LORE program. One of the people that I am privileged to call one of my coworkers was my peer recovery coach. I was incarcerated for a period of close to 4 years due to my choices concerning drugs, and prior to that had 19 plus years of active addiction. And fortunately there was people that just weren't willing to give up on the potential that was there. You know,
and aren't you glad?
Absolutely. And people don't always get it the first time. You know, they don't always get it the second time. But I think with the Kloxxado and the Narcan and that kind of training, the key is we want to keep people alive long enough to where they can get to a point where they're like, okay, like I'm ready to make a change in my life.
So will you actually be able to hand out these products at your Lincoln Park events? Is that the idea?
Absolutely, yep. You don't need a prescription for them. We'll provide that training as long as that training. We ask that the people that are receiving the training provide us with their names and the date that they received the training, so that when and if they have to use it and they need to come back for another one, we can verify that they've already received the training, and we can just go ahead and give them another dose without having to go through the training.
Let me share something with you. I am a person with lived experience also.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes,
I did not know that, Felicia.
Yes,
I've known you quite a number of years.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I have 33 years of lived experience, and I've worked for Pathways for the last 24. So my position has changed. I started as every other weekend in the treatment center, inpatient, and then just worked my way up. And this is, you know, this is a program that I am very passionate about, because we know that there's so many people that are dying, and if we can give them this information, and not only give them this information, but Jason and my other staff as peer recovery coaches, once they do join our program, we do some goals to help them sustain their recovery, but also like if they want to purchase a car or get, you know, their license back, we work with them with whatever they say their goals are.
And Jason, one area that you mentioned that really is vital, you believe, and a lot of folks believe, is the emergency rooms, the places where people are actually going to show up with an overdose. Are you having any success there as far as getting the information there?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of success, but we would like to, we've got some flyers and some brochures we would like to put into some emergency room departments and get into the hands of the people who see a lot of this overdose on the front lines. so that they can give that information to those people and maybe provide something that they didn't know was there for them.
And we've had the number on the screen here a couple of times during the interview. Felicia, one more time, how to reach you to get involved and understand more about the LORE program?
So the first number that's more likely to reach me is my personal cell number, which is 319-464-4444. And the next one is where we're located at, 319-232-6081.
Jason, I'm going to give you kind of the last word on this. What do you want to tell everyone?
Yeah, I would like for anybody that is interested to come and grab a Narcan or a Kloxxado kit and help save a life.
Well said. And you know what? It may save many lives too. We appreciate everything that you're doing with the LORE program. And again, the LORE program is part of the great work being done by Pathways Behavioral Services here in a 6-county area, including Blackhawk County. Thanks you guys for coming in. I really, really appreciate it. More coming up on the Steel Report in just a moment.